Well, on your screen, two new CHOPARD Alpine Eagle watches. So I am asking you, which one do you think is the heavier one of these two? Because it's really extreme. There's one super light and one super heavy. I can tell you one of these watches weighs 288 grams and the other one only 74 grams. Welcome or welcome back to WatchAdvisor on YouTube, where the watches are the stars. But today, before we start, I introduce you to Johann Chance, International Sales Director of Haute Horlogerie at CHOPARD. Welcome, Johann.
Thank you. Welcome.
He is the expert I need to show you the Alpine Eagle watches. There is no one who can do it better. Johann, let's go. I think it's ready.
Yes.
Let's disappear from the screen. You know, hashtag where the watches are the stars. So we disappear from your screen now. You will hear our voices. You will enjoy the watches full screen. Don't forget to use the comment section. Two extremes with CHOPARD this morning. The black watch. I would say this is a surprise in all terms, in terms of movement, in terms of frequency, and in terms of lightness. It is the Alpine Eagle 41 SL Cadence 8 HF. Long name, I will explain everything. Super light, 74 grams, and this is super heavy. Entire platinum watch, including a platinum bracelet, and I told you 288 grams. It's a fitness exercise if you're wearing it. Is the Alpine Eagle 41 XP Platinum. CS, what does it stand for? It tells you it's the first time that you have a Alpine Eagle with a central second. Johann, let's start with the ultra light watch. Look, I want to show you something. Can you see this hand swiping over the dial? What does this most likely tell you? It is a high frequency movement because you do not see any ticks at all. It looks like it is an electric movement or something magical making this second-hand swipe over the dial, but it is a caliber with a frequency of 8 Hertz. That is an equal of 57,600 semi-oscillations per hour. So it's twice 4 Hertz. 4 Hertz will be 28,800. It's 8 Hertz. Johann, tell me something about this beauty. It is ceramized titanium.
So absolutely, yes, it's the ceramized titanium case, but also used for the first time a titanium-based dial. We kept the beautiful pattern of the eagle iris. And if you turn the watch, you will see on the other side that also it's the first time at CHOPARD that we've made a titanium movement.
So also the movement is completely made out of titanium. Wow.
Absolutely. Only the rotor is made in tungsten in order to keep the heavy weight, but the rest, the bridges and the main plates are made in titanium.
Wow. That's why the watch is so light. 74 grams, you don't even feel it in your hands. Especially when you before had this full platinum watch in your hands or on your wrist, you get the impression to wear nothing and to have nothing in your hands. Unless it's a very spectacular watch. 8 Hertz, that's really something you have to do. Once again, I want to point out, look, concentrate just a few seconds on the way how the central second hand swipes over the dial. You get the impression that it is electrically driven by a small little motor, but we will not find the battery behind. But this is the balance wheel. Which kind of escapement do you use here?
Of course, we are using a silicon escapement, so it means that the pallet fork as well as the escape wheel and the pin are made in silicon.
Wow, that's necessary to really be able to stabilize this in this 57,600 semi-oscillations. This is something. It features one barrel.
Absolutely, one barrel for 60 hours power reserve. We kept the 41 size for the case, so from bumper to bumper, exactly. Regarding the thickness, we have 9.8 millimeter thickness.
A little bit less than 10 millimeters, yes.
And if you take from the top to the bottom of the case, you will have 45 millimeter measure.
Lug to lug.
Exactly, yes.
Lug to lug, 45?
45.7.
45.7 is a lug to lug distance. So a watch that perfectly fits under the sleeve of your shirt is a very sporty watch and very spectacular in terms of the movement.
being used by Chopard here. I have to continue to show you the swiping of the hand on the dial. It's so nice. It looks like these semi-electric watches that existed in the early days. Johann, our audience is also very much interested in the dial aperture, meaning how big the dial itself is. I'm sure you also have this figure for me.
Yes, of course.
I know that.
So it's 30 mm.
Okay, 30 millimeters. So this is really what you see then.
And Alexander, I need also to mention that this 41 millimeter is the first one with a rubber strap.
Yes, there it is. Beautiful rubber strap. It is, by the way, also tapering.
Of course, we start from the top at 23 millimeters
23.
and finishing at 18.
So 18 in the pin buckle. Also done out of ceramized titanium, so everything is really super light. And there's a little detail I want to show you also. To fix the first loop, they have been integrating this. You can fix the first loop, and this is really useful because otherwise they will always move around, and once you are wearing it, the first loop is fixed, and then the second one you set to your needs, depending on the size, how you want to wear it. Very nicely done. It is written clearly here, chronometer.
Yes, so this watch is certified by the COSC because Mr. Scheufele wants always to have this certification on all the watches that have a second hand.
Yeah, but COSC, you know, is -4 plus 6 seconds. This is an 8 hertz movement, and in between you and me, I'm sure that this watch is doing much better than this.
So at Chopard, we never go to the minus, so it means that the watch, yes, so the watch will be between 0 and, I would say, +5 seconds a day.
That's typical Chopard. They are modest, they are never exaggerating, they're always staying under the radar. If I imagine a caliber with 8 hertz, I would say it is regulated to plus, and I would assume if he says 5, it's maybe the half of it, so I would predict maybe 2 seconds, not more. Because, yeah, if you have such a movement, you can be sure that this movement really delivers time almost as precise as a quartz movement. It's a beautiful watch, very super light, big crown. Waterproof, 100 meters more.
So yes, the water resistance is, as you said, 100 meters.
100 meters. It's a screw down crown, of course.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it also features a date indication. It's a little bit difficult to read. We said the 1st April because the video goes online today, the 1st April. There is a date function located at 4:30. And so you have also the date being shown.
So the price of this amazing watch will be 23,700 Swiss francs.
23,700 Swiss francs, including tax. And it is, as I saw, a limited edition of
250 watches.
250 watches. Now I'm going into a fitness session this morning. I'm taking the Alpine Eagle 41 XP-CS Platinum, 288 grams. It's really heavy. It is a full platinum watch with a platinum bracelet. And there is also one thing I'm sure some of our viewers have already seen.
Yes, the CS means the central second, because this watch is the first Alpine Eagle which bears the 96 caliber with the central second.
And you all know that so far the Alpine Eagle always had a small second indication at 6 o'clock. And now, for the first time, they have done a central second, and you see it's swiping over the dial, caliber 96. It's a 4 hertz movement, I suppose.
Yeah, so it's a new version of the 96 caliber, which is the 9642 with the central seconds, but still has the 65 horsepower reserve, as well as the Geneva hallmark and chronometer certification.
So everything you need.
This micro rotor is in platinum.
Yeah.
Compared to 22 karat gold for the other versions.
Platinum, 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 but you didn't do the movement out of platinum yet.
No.
Yeah, you could do that. Maybe we would have 320 grams or...
Yeah, why not? In order to be the record.
Perfectly decorated, no doubt. Poisson de Genève. This is a hallmark that really challenges the watchmakers and the manufacturers. If they want to have the Geneva hallmark on the movements, you have to follow lots of rules, and the movement has to really be perfectly treated in all ways, upside down, inside out. So no cheating here. They are very strict, I know that. The diameter of the watch is, Johann?
So it's 41 mm. The dial aperture is bigger than the regular version. 34 mm dial aperture.
34 millimeters is the dial aperture here.
And the thickness of this watch is 8 millimeters,
8 millimeters.
thanks to the micro rotor.
Micro rotor, yeah, and it will perfectly slide onto your fitness sleeves. It's heavy. It's really heavy. Then the so-called lug-to-lug distance, always interesting to know if you try to figure out how the watch could, in theory, fit on your wrist. There are no lugs, but there is an end of the watch, so we're from here to here.
Which is 45.7 millimeters.
45.7 millimeters. Beautiful dial. And as I know from Chopard, they will for sure have another name for this blue color here.
Yes, which is called Shades of Ice.
Okay. That's Chopard. They always name their dials, and I think it's beautiful. And you see there is a sunray finish from the center. It will be very, very nice to see that in different light conditions, sun, shade, artificial light, warm light, cold light, and I guarantee you that the watch will always deliver a different view.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, this is what makes such dials so special.
So we did several tests and the final result is really amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is a beautiful dégradé. So you have a more deep blue on the outside, close to the Röhro, and once you come to the center, it will be a little bit lighter. Beautiful dial. Screw down crown, water tightness.
100 meters water resistance.
Screw down crown with beautifully decorated crown, as always. I think this Alpine Eagle now, step by step, really makes its way as a very serious competitor to the so-called Holy Trinity watches that are really overdone sometimes in the media. And when I'm showing you the watch from this side, there is something very, very special, and I am sure you are not the first one to discover it. Look, do you see the little B here? And now guess what the B stands for. It is the hallmark Chopard uses to certify a platinum watch. Why are you using a B?
Because, you know, we have on the first logo used by Louis-Élyse Chopard, he was using a beehive with bees flying around. And that's why we wanted to keep this spirit with the bee as a platinum hallmark.
True. When you were saying it, remember, yeah, the logo of Chopard. True. Nice!
Let me interrupt this video for a short moment, please. We need you to join our community on our website, www.watchadvisor.com. You can now discover more content. We are going to create forums. We have discussions. You can share stuff. You can come in discussion with me. We're going to present you more insights, more in-deep videos, more in-deep information, and so on and so on and so on and so on. It's all about watches. WatchAdvisor is the name. I am the watch advisor, you know that. This was the reason I'm interrupting this video, and now enjoy the rest of it.
There is no micro-length adjustment in the folding clasp, so you will have to work your way through the different sizes of links that you can take out and put in. There are some smaller ones and some bigger ones, so you should be able to find the appropriate way of wearing it.
And talking about the bracelets, I'm sure you've already seen that we slightly changed the tapering of the of the bracelets.
Yeah, you mentioned that before. I almost forgot to mention it. Yeah. So the tapering changed.
Absolutely,
for a
yes.
better fit. From the top, we are at
23.
23.
And we finish at 18, compared
18
20 for the former versions.
Yeah. So we are coming down to 18 millimeters in the folding clasp, and before it was 20 millimeters. So more tapering now for a better fit. You have to do that for such a heavy watch. I think it was a good decision to do it. And it looks good. You have to say that. It looks really good.
I really love it, yes.
Yeah. What was the reason that Chopard said, okay, we don't do it with a date?
It's just simply because we wanted to have a very simple way of dial construction, and we did not want to have the date at 6 o'clock.
And if I look at this watch and if you look at your screen, honestly, I think a date would have really destroyed this perfect, symmetric and perfectly balanced dial. And I couldn't agree more, and I have to say, yes, well done. I wouldn't put a date either, no. If you need the date, look at your cell phone, why not?
So the price is at Swiss francs 105,000.
105,000 Swiss francs, including VAT in Switzerland. Quite something, but you get something. Huh? I can tell you. Wear it and get fit. So now let's continue with our presentation of the Alpine Eagle watches, and we are turning to the Alpine Eagle Flying Tourbillon in lucent steel. Very beautiful dial, I have to say here. What's the name of the color of the dial?
The name of this dial is a Rhone Glacier color.
Rhone Glacier. Yes, if you have seen the Rhone Glacier and if you ever come to Switzerland, you should travel there because it's spectacular. You will then agree that this color is really the color of the ice in the Rhone Glacier. I've seen it several times and I have to say, yup, copy and paste. Flying Tourbillon, beautiful watch. Light in lucent steel. Light, it is steel, but compared to the Alpine Eagle I've been showing you before in platinum with 288 grams, it feels pretty light in my hands. It is not a new watch, you experts know that. But Johan, what is new on this version of the Alpine Eagle Flying Tourbillon?
So as we have already made the Flying Tourbillon with a dark blue dial, we wanted to keep the blue spirit for the Flying Tourbillon, but we wanted to have something lighter, brighter on the gold-based dial, which remains something very elegant. That's why we've decided to go to this beautiful color.
And what do you see? That it looks like if this Flying Tourbillon would be the sun of the dial, and all the sun rays start from 6 o'clock. So the decoration is not out of the center, but starting from 6 o'clock. Like if the sun would shine on your dial at 6 o'clock.
We have from bumper to bumper for the diameter is still 41 millimeters.
So size diameter is 41 millimeters.
Dial aperture is 34.
34 millimeters is the dial aperture. Good to know.
Also the thickness is 8 millimeters.
8 millimeters of thickness.
And finally lugs to lugs, or from the top to the bottom, 45.7 millimeters.
Since there are no lugs, we do measure from the end to the other end of the watch. So these are figures you can use to imagine how the watch in theory would fit on your wrist. We do have that typical Alpine Eagle bracelet, lucent steel, that's a special steel, a special white steel, anti-allergic.
50% harder compared to regular steel.
It's a cleaner steel, a more expensive steel, a more noble steel. It is a steel that should be used for such a beautiful watch.
Yeah, we obtained this color thanks to the twice melting technique that we are using to make this steel.
Beautifully done. The
power reserve is still 65 hours power reserve. Just to mention, like the first Alpine Eagle Flying Tourbillon we had, the vibrations per hour are at 25,200 because we wanted to keep the torque and the power reserve at 65 hours.
So it's 3.5 hertz?
Yes, absolutely.
25,200 is 3.5 hertz. It's a 1 minute tourbillon, so it will make one entire round in 1 minute. It's Flying Tourbillon. Last thing to say, the price of the watch, is it limited?
No, it's not a limited edition, but the same like the first. We are making a very exclusive production, which means that this year we will be around 20 watches produced. And the price is at 120,000.
Not only you, sir, can wear such a watch, we can also show you some for madame. Chopard also expands the collection of Alpine Eagle with 2 new versions of the 33mm women's watches. The first watch I'm showing you is the Alpine Eagle 33, and the sister laying beside is called Alpine Eagle 33 Frozen Topaz Blue. Frozen Topaz Blue. Let's start with the Frozen Topaz. Why is the watch called Frozen? It's not really cold in my hand.
No, absolutely, but it looks like freezed, and that's why we wanted to name this kind of watches Frozen Collection.
Yeah, look, the entire watch is set with diamonds, and the surface looks like if it is frozen, and this is what is the particularity here. On the bracelet, on the case, on every little detail, I can turn the watch in every direction, in every sense, and you will always find some diamonds. Talking about diamonds, how many diamonds on the Frozen Eagle?
On the dial, you will have 190 diamonds, totalizing almost 1 carat of diamonds.
Now imagine playing around with this watch in full sunlight. This must be Stunning. Maybe you should wear some sunglasses doing this. So 190
90 diamonds.
diamonds here, then on the bezel.
So on the bezel, we will have the topaz, 36 trapeze cut blue topaz, 1.4 carat. On the case and the bracelet, you will have more than 800 diamonds, so 811 diamonds, totalizing 5.2 carats.
This is why the watch is called frozen. Wherever we are looking at, we will find some diamonds. And the setting of all these 800 diamonds must be really a tough job.
Yeah, you know, that's why it's really the marriage between the two worlds of Chopard, high watchmaking and haute joaillerie, so high jewelry. We have very talented also gem setters, and the work made on this watch is really amazing.
And you see also here, the protection of the crown is fully set with diamonds, beautifully done. Let's quickly talk about some dimensions. 33 is clear because the watch is called 33. We'll have a diameter of 33 millimeters.
The thickness is slightly under 8 millimeters, 7.95 millimeters.
Why is the watch so thick? Because it's an automatic movement powering it with a power reserve of
42 hours for the 09 caliber.
hours. You see here, it's a mechanical movement done by Chopard, of course. No cheating here, no quartz movement or things you shouldn't see in a watch like this. It is a robust movement, you have to say. You probably also want to wear such a watch when you go swimming. It's waterproof up to 50 meters. You can bring the frozen into the sea, but be sure not to freeze the sea. Yeah, beautifully done. This piece of art, I imagine, has a quite elevated price.
So I would like to say not specially, as we are at 115,500 Swiss francs.
This surprises me a little bit. I would have expected a little bit more. Is it limited?
No, it's not limited, but also very exclusive production.
The little sister, Alpine Eagle 33 millimeters, a steel and gold version. Same applies here. Our case with a diameter of 33 millimeters. I expect that the thickness is the same.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we do have the same thickness of
7.95.
Yeah, 7.95. And it is a steel and gold watch with yellow gold being applied on the bracelet.
So yes, it's the first, which is with lucent steel and yellow gold.
A combination that is very popular these days. So for combining it with jewelry, combining it with other accessories, it's ideal. Folding clasp, automatic movement. Power reserve is the same, of course. Very reliable movement. And again, 100% Chopard in-house.
So this one is 21,400 Swiss francs.
Decorated, we do have diamonds as indexes on the dial. And we do have, how many diamonds?
36 diamonds.
36 on the bezel. Beautifully done, Chopard, I have to say. Once again, they are surprising me. Johan, which one is your favorite?
So with this new shape, new tapering, I would love to go to the platinum one.
Ooh, he's ready for some fitness exercises.
Yeah.
Here is Johan's favorite. He wants to do fitness exercise, 288 grams. I'd go for the light version, though. Not only because it is such an ultralight watch, but I very much like the 8 Hertz movement. This is really something very unique, very special. It's difficult to find someone else who does something comparable in a regular watch. It's not a limited special edition. It's not an experimental watch. It's a watch they just do. They sell it 250 pieces. Voila, that's how you do it. This is my favorite. Asking you now, guys, which is your favorite of the new Chopard watches? Please use the comment section. Share some thoughts with us. Johan, thank you very much for helping me out
Thank you.
with all the technical details, prices, etc. of this presentation. You guys, thanks a lot for watching the video on WatchAdvisor on YouTube. And if you think that this is your channel, please check out our website, WatchAdvisor.com, and especially our community section on our website to really get in touch with us, to share lots of things. You will get more detailed information about the watch industry, in-depth videos. More fun will happen there. So if you're interested, have a look at WatchAdvisor.com.